some fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Oh, sit down, oh, sit down, oh, sit down. Sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 down. Sympathy.
So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. We're going to have a chat about last night's game, the debacle from Arsenal. Basically, absolute jokes. And the fact that West Ham basically bodied Arsenal, outfought them, outmuscled them, tactically were the better team. And as I just said earlier, backstage with about it does. We seem to do this at this time of year. Start well, then fall apart. Anyway, early doors, man. Great win for your West Ham. We were awful, let's be honest. And congratulations. That's all I can say to you. Not something I want to say, but I predicted a 1-1. I think you went with a 2-2. And you come out of a 2-0 and absolutely took us apart. You should have, could have won it 3-0. With the missed penalty. I'll just get Kenny back here. There we go. And yeah, go on, mate. Give me your breakdown of it.
I think it comes down to man management, and one person got it correct, and that was obviously David Moyes. He basically set out his stall. I mean, I was quite surprised when I saw Mavropanos with Ogbonna. I thought it was going to be Zuma, but apparently he took a knock. And that's why Mavropanos stayed into the side. But he basically, considering someone said that's their kind of B defence, we was resolute. Emerson had a blinding game. Kufau, he did very well and linked up well with Kudos. The middle of the park, Alvarez did a number on Odegaard. Kudos did a number on Trossard. Everywhere we virtually played, it was right. Whereas if you look at, unfortunately for you guys, as I said earlier, Jez, I think you could have been there even now and you still won't be scoring a goal.
No, totally agree with you, mate, on that statement. Kenny Ken, you were actually at the game. I mean, I don't know what it must have been like to be in the ground last night with watching that absolute dross. It was absolute. Well, what I saw on the TV was awful, 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 awful. West Ham basically just absolutely outmuscled us in midfield. And we'll get into some details of that, to be fair. But hey, give me your breakdown, man.
Well, the breakdown is that teams beginning to work us out. There is a blueprint to beat us. Aston Villa showed it 3 weeks ago, and Newcastle did it in the beginning of last month. So and that's been the theme for a lot of times, and even at home, Spurs, should have beaten us, should have fallen. So it's been a case where we've been athletically we've been doing really well, but yesterday was just a sign of things to come, really. West Ham were resolute. They had an outlet. We were pretty lucky that Paqueta went off because he as soon as he went off, Alvarez just took his position and started, spraying the passes, giving a bit of control. But one of the things that you have to take your hats off to West Ham is that they won every second ball, every cross that went in the box. They cleared. They all made sure they have a spare man. Even when there was a little flick on, Kufau was there to click the ball. They were superb from start to finish. We didn't play badly, but the theme of our discussion is going to be predictability. That's what it was. We're just too predictable. Yeah. And a good team like that is going to work us out. Let's not forget, they played us about 6 weeks ago. They smashed us to pieces, so they know how we play.
Facts, man. And just on the funny side of it, before we get into this, Kenny, You did your fan cam last night.
Mm.
Yeah. I did my fan cam, right? And basically, Lee put the same title in for me as yours.
Yes, I noticed.
And some of the comments are so funny that you've done a full Michael Jackson, the game aged you,
Yeah.
it bleached you. I thought that was so funny. So
You know what? I think Lee must be in a rush because he
yeah,
he got me about what's it about I was still at the grounds at 11:30 because I was where the player entrance was. That's where I did my fan cam Lee, but it was something else. Like I know Arsenal fan had any complaints. Have you noticed that myself, you and Early Doors didn't even mention the VAR situation because we all accept the shrewder and the cuter side won. It was not an issue for any Arsenal fan in that stadium. The only Arsenal fans who are going to make it an issue are the Arsenal fans who believe that we can do no wrong. But no one was fooled by that. No one's fooled by that.
No, I mean, well, I am going to bring it up, but it's not. I'm not complaining about it because at the end of the day, there's no concrete proof, whatever. Yeah, and that's quickly, just very quickly chat about it. I said to Early Doors backstage, right? When I used to referee, we were always told, if in doubt, in a position like that, go with the defence. That was how you were instructed to do it, right? Nowadays, it seems to me, and I'm going to come to you on this one, Early Doors first, man, and I'm going to go to Kenny. It seems to be now with VAR, if in doubt, go with the attack. Now, I wonder, my only feeling on this is it because it's entertainment and if it's a doubtful goal and a goal is scored, it's entertaining. Scores a goal. What do you think, mate?
I mean, because obviously when you said that first of all, I forgot all about it. But obviously because I help out at Sunday's side, it is actually one of the rules now. It's now in favour of the attacker rather than the defender. Whereas before, like you said, the keeper was always protected, and so was the defence. Now it's a case of let's give the forward line a bit more of a chance, and you've seen that in games where you've virtually got to put the ball in the back of the net, and then they're calling the ball back, calling for offside or a VAR check. And yeah, I think it is for entertainment value, Jez. No ways about it. It's infuriating for the fan, but for some reason they think that's the ideal thing.
I think that's what it is. Obviously, I mean it's a while ago that I refereed. Kenny, I'm not going to. I don't want to debate about yes, no. Was it? We don't know. I mean, it's quite clear that the fact that the VAR couldn't make a decision, but they went with it, and the goal was scored. I mean, what was the feeling in the ground?
Well, the feeling in the ground, so we were pretty annoyed anyway how the goal came about. We were very angry about how Paquetá had so much time at the ball to spray it to Emerson, and Emerson's put the cross in, and there was 4 Arsenal defenders, in the vicinity. Benjamin White completely got taken out of the game, and then you've got to bring it to Gabriel and Saliba are nowhere, and Beckham Rice is trying to help out, and in between them, because I think what was very clever, if you look at it, is how Bowen makes a play for the shot. He tries to get a shot as he's trying to go for the shot because he's the keeper's anticipating a shot coming his way from Bowen, but because he misses it, it hoodwinks the old defence. But I always say to defenders, be pessimistic, expect the worst and prepare for the worst. That's what you practice in training. But because Bowen's like I said, miskicked the ball where he doesn't kick it, all of a sudden all the defence are out of position, the goalkeeper's out of position, and then I was saying to someone next to me, because Jared Bowen was virtually off the pitch, there's a better chance of him keeping it in than it going out. So it goes in the net. We're not complaining. Then all of a sudden we think, oh no, VAR's involved. And I just said to the guy, look, if they're doing it for 3 or 4 minutes, it's a goal because you've got to give the attacker a chance. And everyone, around me agreed with it. And we're more than angry. It took about 3 minutes, but at that time we were pretty confident we're still going to win the game because we thought, I said to someone, you know what, this is an opportunity for us to have an extra 5 minutes of injury time for us to go 2-1 up.
Yeah.
So we were frustrated. We were a bit frustrated because it was against the run of play.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
what followed, it became pretty clear to us that it was going to be a long night.
Yeah. I mean, when the game, 3 minutes into that game, right? Odegaard did a beautiful little back heel to Saka. He had a great chance, didn't put it away, sadly. And I thought, oh, we're up for it here. We're up for it. Early doors, I thought you guys you're going to be in trouble tonight, because if that's how it's the intensity of how we started is how we're going to play, right, for let's say 60 minutes, then you guys are in trouble. And then it just died.
Yeah. No, you're right, Jed. I think for me, I agree with you. For the first 10, 15 minutes, it looked like it was, 10 minutes, let's say, it looked like you was going to give us a game. You was knocking the ball around. We were struggling to kind of keep up with the players and trying to block the shots and the passes. And then, as you said, and as Kenny mentioned, we caught you on the break, played the ball out, ball goes in, Clement Vera's on the defence, 1-0.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, basically. Literally out of nowhere.
But the thing is, what seemed to me, and I'll ask Kenny this, because he at the ground, we all know when you're actually there, you see everything that's going on around.
Yeah.
When you watch it on the television, you're only seeing the focus point. Yeah. So you don't get the full view of it. When you went 1-0 up, yeah, and I'm not going to talk about the controversy about it. It's done. It's dusted. It's over. No point talking about it. We just seemed to back off. We had. It seemed to me, Kenny, we had absolutely lack of ideas of what to do.
Well, and that's the thing. It's also down to this predictability. The fact is that players, opposition defenders, have worked out Martinelli. And he hasn't responded to the fact that teams have done that. Saka's trying that. Saka's said, "No, I'll vary my game. Instead of trying to get down the wings, I'm going to either go down the wing or cross first time and give earlier crosses." Hence the fact that he has been involved in some very good play in terms of assists. Martinelli hasn't grasped that. He keeps on going deep into the field and where he's clogging it up. He goes down the left hand side, and it's a waste of time because teams work them out. And also, what's hurting Martinelli is the way we play now. Mikel Arteta this season does not like long diagonal passes. He doesn't like long passes. Everything has to be short. All the players, when you pass from us to player, he has to be within 10 yards of you. It doesn't matter if you do 1-2s. It's all about us keeping possession. And because he thinks that if we hit the ball long, we lose possession, the opposition gets us on the counter-attack and we get our numbers. Mikel Arteta cannot tolerate us being outnumbered on the counter-attack. Last season was scarred in. It scarred us, but it scarred in. Because you think about it, games like West Ham away, 2-0 up, 2-2. And let's be honest, West Ham's goal was on the counter-attack where they outnumbed us. When Keller puts that great volley in for Bowen, he makes it 2-2. Let's not forget the Bournemouth game when we won 3-2. Let's not forget Bournemouth's goal from the kickoff where they outnumbered us.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Leeds scored virtually from the kickoff, even though we won 4-1. And a lot of the times, teams are doing us some counter-attack and having clear shots of goal. Arteta can't have that. So that impacts on Martinelli, keeps that some white. But the fact is, Martinelli is an 18-year-old, plays like an 18-year-old in the big man's game. He looks completely out of his depth. The problem we have with Arsenal is that if we keep him on, he's a disaster. If we take him off, he's even more of a worry because of his pace. Because Trossard keeps dropping the ball when we do give him opportunities. He's another person who's struggling this season as well. Name me a good game that Trossard's had when he started. I can't think of many. But when he comes to the bench, he's effective. But the thing is, he doesn't have Martinelli's pace. And if he had Martinelli's pace, along with his football brain, Martinelli wouldn't get a game. Once again, don't be surprised this January if we are looking at a left-sided player to replace Martinelli like we did last season. Mikel Arteta does not trust Martinelli that much anymore, if at all. I'm just being honest.
Do you
And then,
think maybe that is why? I mean, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
yeah,
Do you think maybe why that is why his form's dropped? Because I think this season he's been absolutely bloody garbage. Excuse me 1 second.
yeah, but he has been because simple reasons that good players respond to the change of style, you know, and they respond to the demands their managers are making of them. You know, the fact is, if a manager, there's been casualties because we lost the league. Patini's a casualty. Ramsdale's a casualty. You know, the theme about us being, you know, controlling games and, you know, like controlling possession, not being done on a counter attack. A lot of that is to do because he's taking Ramsdale out of the goal. Because Ramsdale, when he kicks the ball out, it goes straight to the opposition. No short passes, no dangle passes, because he's not that kind of player. Raya is probably responsible for the way we play now, where people praise us for being more in control of games, difficult to break down. But the blueprint is if you go light for us, put men behind the ball, have a bit of an outlet, and take your one chance against us. Teams are pretty confident that they can defend that for the rest of the match because they know what's coming. They know, and then even if we do get past but their back four, their goalkeeper has a worldie. So that's how you beat us. Your defence has to go light for light. You've got to make your blocks. You've got to be able to, like I said, make your last ditch shackles. Your goalkeeper has to make sure he's in positions, you know, to catch the ball or make shots, you know, save a ball. You do that against us, you beat us. Simple.
Yeah, unfortunately, this seems to be the trend. I'm just worried now. I mean, I saw lots of comments on various streams today that it's not time to panic yet. Well, you know, I think that you have to start getting concerned because we need. Come on, we need a striker. We ain't got one. We got a guy, Jesus. He's not a striker. Spends most of his time on his backside, right? We got Saka that now likes us to actually like start diving in desperation, which I think. And I'm going to come to early doors in just a second. Maro says, Ivan Toney transfer, we need to spend the dollars. We do. Absolutely, mate. And thank you for your super chat. We absolutely have to. If we are if we're going to be serious about this, then we need to buy. And I hear people saying, oh, well, we can't because of this, because of that. Well, there's a couple of players that can go out the door and raise a few quid, you know? I mean, my personal view, I thought Trossard yesterday was bloody awful. Awful. I would have rather seen El Neni there, right? And Trossard where Martinelli was. But Martinelli was absolute dog crap yesterday. Seriously bad. And he's dropped off. And people have keep saying, oh, what players has Arteta improved? None. He hasn't improved one sodding player. A lot of players have regressed. Dare I say it? Pepe, yeah. Oh, what happened to him? Yeah. Tierney, he regressed. Great player when he joined us and disappeared and was out the club. And I think this, I'm sorry to have to say this, but Arteta is such an arrogant man, right? That if you don't do it his way, then you're out.
Yeah.
Now, early doors. I mean, you know, let's be honest. Yesterday, you guys come to the Emirates Stadium, right? And we had our forecast results, and you totally and utterly destroyed our midfield. We were crap, worst game. And this is a question I want to ask you, as a West Ham guy. Rice, worst game I've seen him in an Arsenal shirt. He was dreadful.
Yeah.
Do you think that was maybe the pressure, or do you just think it was a bad night? I mean, he was awful.
I think it was a combination of both. I mean, he was effective in certain areas. I mean, he was quite defensive, wasn't he? He virtually sat as just in front of your four. But yeah, I think the pressure of us coming to the ground, the big price tag, Kenny cut the mustard, and yeah, I think it got to him. You know, he's still a young lad at the end of the day, so you got to think there must be some pressure there. and the West Ham fans were obviously going to give it to him large, whatever he did. And when he mucked up, I think there was a bit in just outside of our 18-yard box when he got the ball and Bowen came round and nicked it off him.
Yes.
He was like this. He didn't know what happened. So when you look at something like that, that kind of tells you straight away that's not his normal game. And then you see a few other errors being made, and of course we know at the end when he gave the penalty away, and especially the worst part about it at the West Ham end, and they started giving it to him and he had a little smile on his face. As an Arsenal fan, I don't think I would have appreciated that, because at the end of the day, it's like that's your old club and that, and you're kind of like laughing as if to say like, yeah, I've still got that West Ham inside me kind of thing. It wasn't a good vibe at that stage, but yeah, I think it was a bit too much for him. The pressure was, the price tag, and obviously playing us again. I think it did take its toll.
I agree. I just thought he was shocking. Kenny, he was poor, wasn't he, last night, Rice?
Well, the thing about it, right, became obvious from the start, even his involvement in their first goal. It's like a kid who's playing against his old mates, his old school, and now he's with his new school, and he knows, he thinks it's about him. I think he tried too hard. He was trying to impress us because he wanted to make sure to show West Ham how he's improved and what he's missing. He also wants to show us, this is I'm bigger. I'm Arsenal now. I'm not with these guys. And then what happens? It gets to his head. As Lady Dawes says, he's a young lad. You could tell when a player's trying too hard. When he's making a pass, they're intercepting it. Or a situation where Kudos is just targeting him. There was times where Kudos was just gliding past him as though he wasn't there. He wasn't there. It's like he says, right, I'm not going to go near Gabriel or Saliba. I'm going to go to either Declan Rice or go to Jenko because they're not touching me. They wouldn't dare. And that's the thing. They targeted that Declan. And that's the thing. It happens in a lot of times. It happens in life. You want to impress your old mates. Equally, you want to impress your new mates. What happens? You start, like I said, trying too hard. And when you try too hard, you make mistakes. And when you try to repair the mistakes you're making, you make it even worse. Hence the penalty. He gets the ball, gives the ball away, boom, fouls Emerson, boom. You know what I mean? What can I say? I don't, you can't even, how do I say it without trying to be funny? You couldn't make it up. You know what I mean? You couldn't make it up. You know what I mean? But the situation is that, Arsenal put in Declan Rice on the programme, provocative to West Ham. That's a team talking itself. It's a provocative to West Ham fans. It puts extra pressure on Declan Rice. It wasn't about Declan Rice. This was Arsenal West Ham. But because of the price tag and because the whole talk was about Declan Rice and how he's this gargantuan player for Arsenal now, blah blah. I defy any young player not to think, you know what, this is going to be my night today. I'm gonna show everyone in the country how I've improved. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do something significant today. And then what happens? You forget the basics. You forget about your recoveries. You forget about your short passes. And then you become nervous, you become anxious, because your team's a goal down. And rather than playing to the plane, you try too hard to get us back in the game. What happens? West Ham just think, right, boom, boom, boom. We're calm. Arsenal aren't calm. We're just going to make sure we ride our luck, make our tackles, and then if Arsenal make mistakes at the back, boom, that's us, because we did it against West Ham 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's not as if it wasn't like I said, a go-to point for West Ham. Arsenal fans said, yeah, it's a different game, but the style of play we played against West Ham when we lost in the cup is no different to how we played yesterday. Still the same. Still gives West Ham things to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just going Megan's comment here. Arsenal got Fulham next, who already drew at the Emirates was this scene with 10 men, and we've got to go now down to the cottage, right? Which is not an easy place to go and play football. Let's be fair. It's one of them old school type places, and they're going to be up for it. Arteta's going to have to change the mindset of some of these players, because otherwise, I can see us getting caught out again. Be serious. I'm not joking, man. But we move on. Zinchenko, early door. Zero. That guy, I'm sorry. I don't get this inverted bullshit, man. I understand Pep Guardiola because he's got a better player in that position doing it. He disappears, leaves us exposed again. Mate, I just don't. I mean, to me, it's rubbish. And he is in that position, crap.
Yeah, I summed it up the other night because I said, like, he's going to be facing Kudos. And all it takes is Zinchenko to push forward, lose the ball, Kudos latches onto it and then Kudos leaves him to dust, which he did. And there's a situation where Zinchenko tried to take him out, didn't he? Even tried to take him out, but that man's phenomenal. I mean, like, I think even you had 2 or 3 players around Kudos trying to take him out, and he still managed to get the ball out and play it out. So, but Zinchenko, yeah, I know, but Zinchenko, it was right when he first came in, but that 5-minute wonder soon lost its tarnish, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then we can see the reason why he was only a bit player for Man City. It definitely kind of shone.
The gloss has gone, man.
Mate, yeah. As they say, you can't polish a turd, can you?
No.
You know what though?
Exactly.
Sometimes, all right, obviously we don't like the decision. But the problem is, West Ham have done something similar, but it's worked out for West Ham. If you look at the situation, Aaron Creswell can't get a game for West Ham because he can't play inverted. He can't play the inverted style because David Moyes is doing the inverted style. Hence the fact that he's got Emerson there who can play in the midfield, and sometimes you notice that Curler, his left footed can go and deputise there. So, but now if you get Aaron Creswell's kind of a Kieran Tierney type defender, left back who will go the channels, will put crosses in, but in terms of inverted, because everything's like possession stats, it's not working. It's the same thing at Tottenham as well. Dogbie, he's doing the same thing at Tottenham where Davies can't get a game because he's inverted. And I think what it is, it's the way to go now. Philip Lahm, when he was at Bayern Munich in Germany, he became that kind of inverted player. You know what I mean? And, we were even doing it 30 years ago. If you notice that Dennis Irwin sometimes played left back, inverted left back as well, because he's right foot. So I think that's the way football's going. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, it takes away from the creative side of, the overlap. Yeah. For instance, Martinelli and Kieran Tierney, they're going to play well together, that's the whole situation. The situation, what Arsenal are going to have to do with Zinchenko is that they're going to have to get someone who's better than Zinchenko, because that person now has to play inverted because that's how he's going to have to play. But he has to be able to defend as well. So he's got to be two players in once, a midfielder and an inverted. Until, we get that player, then we might have to look at Timber when he gets fit, or Zinchenko's here to stay. And that's the problem we've got. Zinchenko's perfect for the home games because we're meant to be dominating games at home. But obviously away, you can't have Zinchenko. But the problem is, because we're so predictable, Kudos had a good game against us before. He thinks, you know what, stuff it. I saw what Liverpool did to him. I'm going to do him as well. Yeah, that's the problem Arsenal got.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke situation to me. I mean, I despair. I honestly do despair. Megan says Martin Odegaard, all that coming his hair. Yeah, I mean, what is all this? What is all this flicking his bloody hair? I mean, I did it on Lee's show last night when we did the player ratings. I was going, what is all this? Right, I ain't got no hair, so I can't flip my hair. Right, like my 2 guests. But what is this all the time? If it's annoying you, man, get your hair cut.
Exactly that.
It's not hard. Seriously, it's not. But and yeah, I'm just going to say, midway through the show, I'm 3 away from 4,500 subs. So
Brilliant.
I want 3 subs tonight minimum. Please.
Come on, guys. Sub to Jez.
Come on,
Let's get him up
guys.
to that channel. Let's get him up to that figure. Come on.
Yes, let's get him up to that figure. Definitely, 100%.
If you're new in here, please smash the subs. And it does help the channel get out there, and we get more views, and I get lovely guests on like I've got tonight. You know, the great community that we have. But I mean, Jesus, Kenny, and I'm going to come early doors to this man. Jesus, he is awful. He spends more time on his arse than he does standing up. Every time he gets the ball, he gets tackled, he falls over. Come on, man. Seriously.
Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that he puts the effort in, but you want an end product at the same time. And as you said, going down on and then you're looking around for the referees expecting to get a free kick.
Exactly.
And it's where you've clearly run into the player. You know, you knocked yourself out. You look at this. I mean, obviously, we mentioned it earlier on, Jez, and we haven't talked about it yet. But obviously, Saka.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way he falls over many times, and it seems to be a trait with some of you guys at Arsenal. So I don't know what Arteta does. He must do a half an hour session of just falling over in the training ground, something like that at least. But Jesus, it must be frustrating because you expect. Again, he's another one that came with some credentials, but he seems, I think with Man City, he was more effective as a sub coming on and getting you a goal. So he's not a 90 minutes man in my eyes.
No, he's not. No, I totally agree with you on that. He wasn't at Man City, was he? So
No, exactly.
Kenny, mate, honestly, Jesus, another player to me, when he first came, right, he was a little bit of a lighter, scored some, early doors, scored goals. Now he just seems to, I don't know, is it he needs some new boots?
So it's not that when you were getting with Jesus, and the thing is that in a perverse sort of way, he's very much an Arteta, Pep Guardiola kind of player. I think, I think that's the situation. Is that last season when we were winning games and we were winning, basically winning, top of the league at a canter. Everyone was laughing at Man City for giving us Jesus and Zinchenko, but the fact is, Jesus won't get your goals. He'll give you work rate. He'll bring other players into the game. But the best return you get from Jesus is 15 goals. It's 15 league and cup goals, and that's the situation. We know what we're getting in the team. The problem is this season is that again, teams have worked him out as well. And that's the situation. Jesus is meant to get the best out of Martinelli because they play it. But the thing is that, Jesus, if you're going up top, then that all you've got to do is just don't get tight on him. Just give him a bit of space and then react when he tries to have a shot. If he goes down left and Martinelli interchange, teams done that. But the thing that's frustrating a lot of Arsenal fans is that Jesus is actually getting to centre forward areas. He's getting chances. He's not taking them. There's a couple yesterday. Let's not forget the North London derby when Maddison gave him the ball, put him on a plate for him, and he passed it over. And I think that's frustrating Arsenal fans more than anything else. It's not the fact; it's that he's just not taking chances. And then when Jesus doesn't take the chances, let's face it, he's got a good opportunity, to be up there with Song, Salah, and Jared Bowen and Solanke because of the amount of chances he keeps on spurning. But the situation with Jesus is that thing, let's get a new striker. It's always going to be around when Jesus misses chances. Because we're Arsenal fans, let's face it, we're never, ever, ever going to accept Eddie Nketiah as an Arsenal player, let alone our main man. We're not going to accept him. We don't want him. We don't rate him. We see him as a junior, as a Crystal Palace player playing in an Arsenal team. And that's the thing. But the problem is, we're going to have to stick with Jesus because no Arsenal fan, hand and heart, believes that we're going to get a striker in the January transfer window. And then you've got the Arsenal fans who think, well, hang on here, like me, if we do get a striker, that means we got to change the style of play, and try and get the ball forward quickly for a striker, and risk being hit in a counter attack. When you've got a manager who's changed the whole approach because of that, I don't see us getting a striker. And that's the problem. Jesus can easily relax our minds, stop us from talking, and think, right, make us more patient till probably towards June if he took his chances. That's the problem. That's Jesus' biggest problem. No one can say we're not putting chances on the plate for him. We're not creating chances for him. But the bloody lad ain't taking them. That's my issue with him. Not wasteful in front of goal.
Fact. I mean, I'm going to come to. I'm on early doors. This is a great point. That I think you'll answer this, man. Chrissy says, everyone I spoke to before our game last night said they were worried about our defence versus Paqueta, Kudos and Bowie. And yeah, it proved it right, man.
Yeah.
Proved it right. Can I, just before you answer that, Carl, you're relentless, man. Thank you. Again, gifted Arsenal. 5 Arsenal, the history of more memberships. So the 5 people that have been given that by Carl, please give him a big thank you. But we'll get back to this one, mate. Early doors. I mean, it's right. It's right. It's a great comment, isn't it?
It is. I mean, with the one person he also forgot to mention there as well was Alvarez, because he stepped up, like, as Ken said, when Paqueta got injured. But between those 3 players alone that's being mentioned, full well that they can be quite devastating. You saw that against Man United, how they could dispatch them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just everything yesterday just kind of, the old saying, it turned to gold, didn't it? Really, for us, we kept ball on the counter, with the fact that everyone defended for each other. The one thing I was really impressed by West Ham is the fact of we handled in packs. When we closed some of your players down, it was 2 or 3 players, and they were backing each other up. So if one loses the ball, the other one's picking it up off the player it came out again. And you guys just couldn't handle that. We was, in certain respects, quite physical at certain points. I think there was a bit in the 75th minute you got a little bit nasty, because obviously you was 2-0 down at that stage, and there was some swiping going on. Saka giving away a couple of silly free kicks when he didn't need to, and that's just obviously pure frustration being into the player. But yeah, I mean, those players alone can do damage. But Alvarez, yeah, I mean, he was immense. Like I said, he literally smothered Odegaard, and Odegaard in the end played virtually out on the right wing.
Yeah, shocking. I mean, I'm sorry to have to say it, but Kenny, I've got to ask you this, man. Reece Nelson's free kick. What the hell is that all about?
Well, it's another thing as well. It's the pressure. It comes on. It was pathetic. He did. If you're gonna shoot, just shoot, for God's sake. But make sure he was caught between 2 minds. And you know what? That's another thing that a lot of fans didn't neglect, is that we talk about West Ham's dogged defensive shape and how they did it successfully. We talk about the performances of individuals, but let's not forget they had a weapon, they had an offensive weapon called James Ward-Prowse. You compare James Ward-Prowse to the garbage you just described. That's another reason why they were able to win the game. You can't. All right, there's more to James Ward-Prowse by the delivery, but oh my God, the delivery is something else, mate. It's something else. It's probably it's better than Beckham's.
Yeah,
it's better than Beckham's. Because I always rated Beckham's delivery until I saw this guy. And the thing is, I first saw James Ward-Prowse 10 years ago when he was a kid at Southampton. And from the first time I saw that bend in the corner, I thought, bloody hell, this guy's going to be trouble. And he's going to be a successful player. And I think you compare that to now Reece Nelson, garbage. Odegaard, didn't really get in those positions. But Reece Nelson, you know what? You know what I'm going to call Reece Nelson? I'm going to call him Reece FFP Nelson, because the only reason why he's at the club is because of and got a contract. It's FFP.
Yeah, shocking, man. Now, this is a comment. Macy, early doors. Mavropanos, a player that wasn't good enough for Arsenal. Redemption, man. Scored a lovely goal.
Yeah.
And that sums it up for me when you've got a player that Arsenal deem rubbish. And I have to say, I didn't think much of him myself, to be truthful. But he scores a goal at the Emirates. Says it all, doesn't it? Sums it up.
Yeah, I think, and I suppose in certain respects, it's not on the same level, but a former player coming back to your club, but he played for West Ham, and he actually acted like that. He wasn't affected by the fact that you released him. He just did his job, and obviously, great connection with that ball. There's a bullet header, but
yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a great goal. You can't deny it. I mean,
different levels. I mean, as you said, Rice got affected by obviously Hammers being there, whereas Mavropanos, he just played his trade, and that's the difference between the two levels, I suppose.
Totally. Yeah, I mean that is what it is. As DJ Crane says, sympathy had killed Arsenal Football Club. Weirdo super fans, AFTV, and Len Locke making rap songs about the state of the club have buried it. Yeah, Arteta out. Kenny, I'm going to come to this question, man. Right now, as we sit here, having a chat, what do you think? What do you think is going through Arteta's head? Do you think he's starting to think? Is he panicking? Do you think he's thinking we've really got to strengthen?
Yeah, definitely. He's frustrated. Certain people are frustrated him. He's frustrated with. He's frustrated. He has to be frustrated with Martinelli. He has to be frustrated with Trossard. Because he feels that he's finally getting the best out of Kai Havertz. He's always he's going to look at the defence and say, look, there's always room for improvement. The midfield's going to concern him as well. But the thing that's got to really frustrate him is because the Jesus thing's going to frustrate him because he doesn't want to buy a new striker. He doesn't want to change the way he played. But he's going to look at it and think, well, hang on here. Yesterday, yes, West Ham played at skin, but we had clear-cut chances. We should be taking them. So he's going to be very frustrated with our inability to take our chances. He's going to be very frustrated with the Villa game as well. Similar situation. All you've got to do is just change the badges. They're both claret and blue, Aston Villa and West Ham, but same game plan, same successful game plan, same things. We're missing chances. That's going to frustrate him really, really. As I say, get his goat because let's be honest. That's the situation. But you know what Arteta does? He's ruthless. You annoy him, and you don't come from scratch. He'll replace you with anything that. As I said before, he'd be looking for a defender. He'd be looking for a left winger. He'd be looking for a midfielder, and then he won't waste time. He won't waste time. But one thing he won't do until probably June is to get a striker. But Jesus is not safe. There's going to be a time where he's going to look at it and say, right, I like what Jesus gives me, but I'm sorry. I know there's a player who could do what Jesus does, but can put the ball in the net.
Yeah,
and that's the situation.
Yeah, I've got a question I'll ask early doors. I have no idea about this one, but I'll come to you, man. Ian says, question Jez to early doors. Can he remember Darlington playing at Upton Park in the FA Cup in the early 70s? Thanks, my stepdad played in the game for Darlington. There you go. Some guy, I don't know. Do you know? I don't know.
No, I mean, basically, I was born in 71, so it might be just a bit too early for me to remember at that stage.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Fair play, yeah.
Unfortunately, I look this old. Unfortunately, Jez, I can't help that part.
Well, mate, I mean, obviously, last night, poor old Kenny, he went Michael Jackson, mate, because he was that stressed, and he aged about 10 years. So it happens to all of us, mate. It does happen. when I was still going to games when I was back in the time, I used to have a lot of hair. And look what Arsenal have done to me. You know,
Yeah.
it's all gone, fella. As DJ says, can't polish a turd, but you can turn him into a politician. Yeah, 35. Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah. You know, 85 minutes, Kenny. 85. You're there. You're in the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in my day, and I know back in your day, yeah, if you had a performance like that, yeah, you'd be there right to the death, and you'd be giving your home players, i.e., Arsenal, a big load of crap. I remember doing it. You remember doing it, yeah, and just saying you lot are a bunch of crap and booing them and saying, well, you're just not good enough to wear the shirt. Now, no, it's all a bit of a laugh, get along, a giggle, yeah. And I saw again, Kenny, players walking out 85 minutes.
Well, but that's our fans anyway. Yeah, that's our fans. They'll have loads of excuses. They'll be saying about how, oh yeah, it's an 8:15 kickoff. I need to get home. You know, I don't want to get home late. I've got, you know, it is where it is. You know, with the Chris, you know, I'm against the Christmas program anyway. You know that. I think that if you can't get fans to games, i.e., don't have transports, you know, public transport, especially trains, you know, why have those games? But if these games are going to be there, you've got to stay to the end as a fan. That's my view. Stay to the end. There's no, you know, I don't understand how fans can come to a ground and think, right, that's my time. I better leave now because I want to beat the rush. I always believed that. Well, this is how I looked at it. I was at the ground. I stayed to the end, and I was still in the ground until kicking out time. So the game ended about 10:05. They kicked us all out of the ground at 11 o'clock, and I was still there. And then obviously I did my bit with Lee, you know, 20 minutes later. Now, when I went to Fuji Park, it was empty. There was no crowds.
No.
Right, when I was at the tube station, bus depot, there was no crowds. Now, and I remember taking my nephew to a game about a couple of years ago, and I said to him and his mum, "Wait there. You're not leaving early. Just wait there till I'll come and get you. Stay there." And they said, "Why?" I said, "You'll find out." I made them stay for about an extra half an hour, 45 minutes. I took him to the press room, watched the player interviews on Sky. And then all of a sudden, when I got there, the ground, it wasn't as packed as it was before. They got home, no problem.
Exactly.
No problem, no crowds. So when I hear fans saying beat the crowds, I think you're talking a load of rubbish.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're rubbish. I think you're not backing the side. You know, if you can't stay at a ground for 85 for the full 90 minutes or 100 minutes, whatever it is, give your ticket to someone else. Seriously, give your ticket to someone else. You know, you should be. I think it's the art of bad sportsmanship to walk out the ground because your team's losing. What sort of fan are you?
Yeah,
and then you've got I walked out the ground because we're 3-0 down. I walked out in the 47th minute, and you went to tell people about it. You can't be a fan if you're leaving the ground early because your team's losing. You know, but I think the situation. You know what I think it is about people leaving early. A lot of people go, you know, tend to go to football matches with a group of friends. So what will happen is that there's always going to be one bloke who's a follower. There's always been one bloke who's going to make decisions for everyone else. And invariably, if you're driving, then the driver is going to go, "Oh, I've got to go now. You've got to go." And I think that's one of the reasons why when I go football, I try to go on my own. Because when you go in groups, this is what's going to happen. You know, they don't give a damn about your enjoyment or anything else. They're not happy. We're losing. Oh, let's get out of here. Come on. But you might want to stay. That's the situation. You know, it's your fan experience, your memories that are getting trashed by being one of the ground, being a follower. Sorry, but that's how I feel.
I totally agree with you. I mean, when I used to live right opposite the bloody East Stand when I was about 18, yeah, I used to stay in the grounds as long as I could, because if you left at whatever time the game finished, 92 minutes, 93 minutes, it's a mad rush.
Yeah.
I used to rather stand on the North Bank, chatting to mates, having a laugh, having a giggle, whether we lost, whether we won, drew, whatever, don't matter, right? You stand there and have a chat. And we'd either celebrate the win, or we'd be talking about that was a shit performance because we just lost, or well, we drew. We should have won that game. I never ever, even away games when I used to go away, right? I remember going to Old Trafford. We were getting the arses kicked off us, right? And one of the guys we were with, he said, "Oh, come on, guys, let's go. This is rubbish." I said, "No, if you want to go, mate, you go. I'm staying. I'm staying here," because he said, "Well, yeah, we got to get out. We got to get back to the mini bus thing when we had our shitty old transit bloody thing, eat the crap." And we'd say, "No, we're staying. If you want to go, go. We'll see you there. But I'm staying to the end of the game, because at the end of the day, I want to see what happens." And if we were losing 3-0, I think at the time we were losing 4-0, be fair, if I remember rightly. I said, we might nick one. All right, we're not going to win, but we might nick a bloody goal. I don't get it, man. I seriously don't get it. I didn't see any bloody West Ham fans walking out.
Yeah, not at all. But let's face it, it happens.
Yeah.
I couldn't help watching the highlights of the Brighton Spurs game, where when Spurs got their goals back, I saw empty spaces. I've been to many at North London derby where at the Emirates, at Highbury, if it becomes blatantly obvious Spurs ain't going to get back in the game, their fans do a runner. Now that do a runner. The same situation, occurred at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when we went 3-0 down in the 47th minute. The Arsenal fans just went home. I stayed to the end, but some just did the thing, and that's the nature of the beast. Nature of the beast. I can tell you a lot of stories about when I used to go matches and why I don't go with a certain person. I could tell you loads of stories about it, but it's not for public consumption. But let's just say, even though we're mates and we don't see each other much, I felt he was ruining my footballing experience. So what I used to do is say, "Mate, I'm getting coaches to games away, so I'm not going with you." I never told him why I did it. I just said I'll get coaches, but it was because I felt he was ruining my footballing experience. Because it's like, instead of we had to meet up where he wanted to meet up because he was driving. I never asked him to drive, but you know what I mean. He or do things to convenience him. And I thought, nah, you can't be ruining my experience. Stuff it, and then doing all this. But that's the thing, football. When you go watch Arsenal play, you go watch football matches. Sometimes, part of going to matches is the mateship and doing things together. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That is half the fun, man. It's a day out. You have a giggle, you have a chat, you watch 95 minutes of football, whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, but it's the whole thing of it's camaraderie.
Yeah, but one thing, Jess, though, that mate, as good as he is, could spoil your experience when he does things like, "Oh, let's meet up where it's convenient for him," or let's leave early. When you're a football fan, you want to get every minute of every match that you play for, but because it's convenient for him, "Oh, let's leave early." That's the downside of going with a group of people.
It is, but I mean, luckily back in my, there was a group of probably 8-10 of us used to go every week together, and we were all of the similar ilk. And it was not very often we got somebody who would say, "Oh, come on, let's go." We just said, "Well, if you want to go, go then."
Yeah.
Sod off. We're watching the game, man. We're here. We've paid a lot of bloody money to get here, and I want to see the game. And especially like the guys, like you spend shed loads of money on a season ticket. You want to get every bit of penny out you can out of that.
Yeah.
Early doors, man. Where do you think this is going to take West Ham? Because, you've got a tidy team. your manager's looking to sign another contract to kick you on a bit further. You know, nice picture behind you, obviously, of your bus parade. Fair play to. We haven't seen one of them for quite a while. Around Ashburton Grove, but fair play to you. I respect you for it, mate. How do you think this is going to make your team kick on?
I think it's we're having a decent season already, and I think this obviously in beating a team like yourselves, it does give a lift in the team, and the fact that we're also doing well in the Europa as well, we're knocking on the door for the Champions League. I think it's still pushing us on for. I think there's more to come from us. There's a good camaraderie between the players and the club and Moyes. And, obviously there was rumours, would Moyes get a new contract? It seems like it's in the bag now. It's going to be happening. So, yeah, it's all looking promising for West Ham. I'll give it that. It is looking really promising. So I think the way the season's going, I could see us sitting in that sixth, even pushing on maybe to even fifth, possibly fourth, if we can carry on doing results and other teams around us muck up. So that's how confident I feel about it.
I'd agree with that. Kenny, this I don't think it will, but this can go two ways for Arsenal. It's either going to be a major kick in the bollocks and make sure that we kick on, right? With Fulham away coming up, yeah, or it's going to be the start of the new year where Arsenal capitulate and we start panicking and we go out and buy some dross player from Brazil, right, that nobody's ever heard of and doesn't help us whatsoever. Some young kid, we buy him for 5 million. We don't see him ever again. Because, Kenny, how many young players has Arteta brought through the academy?
Well, he hasn't, and he's not going to as well, because simple reasons. He's not a very patient man when it comes to the way we're going to play. He moves the team on every season, and Arsenal fans need to come to terms with that. I saw when Smith Rowe came on, he got a massive cheer, and I just thought, well, enjoy it what he lost, because I can't see Smith Rowe being a long-term prospect for this great club, because the manager doesn't need Smith Rowe in his team. That's not a slag off Smith Rowe or being horrible about him. It's just the way the things are now at the football club, and I think about where you think it's going to go. Well, there's going to be pain, because there are going to be teams are not going to change the way we play. And let's face it, every team in the Premiership defends the same way now. I could be perverse in saying that watching Premiership now is quite boring, really, because. The reason why I say it's quite boring is that every team's well drilled. Every team plays with banks of 10, low blocks, and teams don't cross the ball because it's a waste of time, because they know they cross the ball that that the ball's going to be cleared either by like I said a tackle, or like I said an interception, or a headed clearance, because teams are that well drilled. So what teams do is that you've seen a lot of times where teams just get the ball down a wing, pass it back to the left back or right back, and then pass it in the midfield, and they try to draw you out a different way, and teams are onto it. And I think that's Arsenal just going to have to be patient. What Arsenal are going to have to do is that the chances they do get against these teams, well-drilled teams, they've got to take them, because we know if they take that one chance, the game opens up. But the more they miss those chances, then we're going to feel pain. Like Sunday, Fulham will be absolutely praised to play expansive after the fact they lost at home to Burnley and lost to Bournemouth. They'll be morons to play any other way than what West Ham played against us. If they do, they're morons. Yes, they played West Ham 5-0, but come on, West Ham probably were playing in Europe 3 days before that. In fact, they were. No excuse, but Liverpool, even Liverpool in the cup, they're going to have a go, but they're going to be well drilled as well. That's the blueprint. But the thing is, Arsenal will get chances, because regardless of how you're playing a football match, you're always going to create a chance. Always going to do it. Defence is not perfect. It's just about taking a chance, beating a goalkeeper, or using a set piece. That's where Arsenal have to improve. They don't take their chances. Boom. It's going to be another situation where we're going to have all the possession, but we won't win the match.
True. I'll just pinned a comment there. I think was quite interesting. Got to show. I mean, Arsenal Manic says 30 shots, no goals. According to Super Mikel fanboy, if we don't need a striker, we would ruin the ambience, the system, the balance. Early doors, man. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, it's for me, you definitely need a striker. I mean, like Alson Mag, that's a great comment. I mean, when you look at that, I don't need to say more because I think we all know, everyone in the chat can agree exactly the same thing. That's one thing you are lacking at the moment. Creative play, not a problem at all. But hitting that thing that's 8 foot tall and 8 yards across the net is where your problem is. You just can't find the back of it. And yesterday was a clear example of that. So, yeah, it's a great comment, but nah.
Yeah, Kenny, Kenny, you've worked with some of these people in years gone by.
Mm.
You know, I mean, that is a most nonsensical comment, is it not?
Yeah, you got to remember that these people is that things have changed now. Things have changed. You know, social media is not where it was 6 or 7 years ago. You know, some people have proved to be, you know, what they always were, users. There's a lot of people who've got where they are by making themselves head of a protest or head of a fan group. Hence, they're now working for the club. You know, living their dream, meeting the players, going to annual meetings, or some of them appearing on Sky TV. All those podcasters, you know, who claim to represent Liverpool, Arsenal, all them lot. You go on Sky TV now and Transfer Daily. They're on the Transfer Daily, and then you go on a Saturday if your team ain't playing. They're now doing a job that Bianca Westwood's doing in the stands. You know, like I said, commenting on matches. That was what the plan was all the time. You know, who needs to go to journalism school if you can run your own podcast? You know, like I said, say that you're a fan of a big club, and then all of a sudden, here you go. I've got a TV career. I think that they started off as fans, but their love of the club, and I use that in inverted commas, is superseded by their love for the main prize, a job in the media. Just facts.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the problems, I don't know, early doors. I mean, you've got a West Ham fan base that must have a big channel on YouTube. Is it as toxic as it is at Arsenal and Man United? I don't know.
No, I mean, surprisingly, in that it's not actually. There's sometimes this quite some good conversations to be had in that, and you don't, you know, all you get. There's one particular channel they moan, but other than that, all the other channels seem to talk. I wouldn't say talk facts, but talk sense. They want what's best for their club. They see the perspective of what the club's trying to achieve. Yeah, they've had their moans and groans about Gold, Sullivan, and Brady, but other than that, yeah, it's not like I've seen some of the channels on Arsenal where, you know, you think yourself, you're supposed to be supporting your club, not turning on each other. I don't get that. I really don't.
No, I don't personally, but it seems to be. There's a question for you, mate, from Rosie. Even early and all, what's your prediction for tomorrow's games? Chelsea and Wolves games. Hope you're well. What's your view, man?
Well, Chelsea's obviously got Luton, and I think I fancy Luton actually getting something out of that Chelsea game.
I do.
I can't remember who's Wolves got. I'm trying to think who's Wolves got.
I'll tell you. Hang on. Wolves, Everton. Everton.
I think that'd be a draw. I think they'll cancel each other out.
You know the thing about Luton. You know the thing about Chelsea. Chelsea are a mini version of us. like that Wolves game, only they know how they did not win that game. I've never seen a team dominate possession so much, create clear-cut chances, and end up losing the game. It was a sight itself. And I think the situation with Luton, they're every game Luton plays is like the third round of the FA Cup, where you're a big team and you go to Kenneth Road in a packed, tight ground, and it's like a giant killing when they play matches. And I think with Chelsea, if they take their chances and play freshly, they'll win the game. But you never know with Chelsea because they don't take their chances. They don't take the chances. The players are there. They've got the young enough players, but they haven't got the striker. I mean, Nicholas Jackson, he's a one player. Is that, believe it or not, he scored quite a few goals this season, but how he finds a way to miss easy chances. The same Broyer as well. I'll never know. I mean, it says a lot about Chelsea. And it's not. I know there's Chelsea fans who watch it. I know you like your players to come through, but the epitome of Chelsea this season is that Conor Gallagher is your main man. Now, under any other Chelsea manager, under Abramovich regime, he's a substitute.
Yeah. Early doors. I want to ask you this one, mate. Early doors. This I think is a quite important thing for West Ham, right? As I told you, I was chatting to a couple of people today. They're taking the piss out. They're West Ham fans, really nice guys. Well, I'm not sure they are now. I've got the hump with them. But I do drink with them, and it's always good banter. And I said to them about the penalty, right? The Rice penalty, yeah. And I said it is a clear penalty. And I said, but the guy, your man that took it was a shit penalty taken.
Oh God, geez, yeah.
It was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah,
really?
I mean, as soon as I see him stepped up and I see his face, it was a case of he ain't scoring that at all. And then when he cheekily turned around and gave a wink, I don't know if it was aimed at Rice or whatever. I knew he weren't going to score. I just could see it.
He was taking the piss out of Arsenal. Come on.
Yeah, of course he was. And really should have put that away. But I don't know why he stepped up in the first place. You got Bowen there. Give it to someone else at least. But why he took it, I don't know.
That's what they both said to me, was that Owen should have taken that penalty. But before we wrap this up, one thing that frustrates me, one of your players last night that ripped Arsenal apart, right? Kudos. Yeah, we could have bought him.
Yeah,
we were in the mix, Kenny, and I'm going to come to early doors after you, Kenny.
I was just as surprised, but the thing is that he's made the right decision for his career. He's getting first team football. He wouldn't have got first team football at Arsenal because Bukayo Saka is far away Mikel Arteta's main man. We've had podcasts over this season alone, where like I said, I've come to the conclusion, not about everyone else, that Mikel Arteta, but it's basically based his whole attack around Bukayo Saka. So if the Kyrgios to get a game, you're playing at left. You're playing on the left instead of Martinelli. But the thing is, you saw how he's played this season. His best football has been in that Saka position. So if you buy Kyrgios, you're basically trying to replace Saka, and that's just not going to happen, is it? And if he does come, he's like Saka's understudy. But that'd be a waste after what he's done this season. He's been. I just looked at that Wolves performance and I thought, all right, I saw him live when they beat us in the cup, and I'm seeing what he could do. But there's times when that guy's unplayable. West Ham fans, enjoy him whilst you can. Make sure that you get to at least the Europa League final or try and win it, and then don't accept anything less than like £100 million for this guy. Just don't. Don't let teams try and mug you off, because you let teams mug you off, you've had it, mate. Because this guy is a gem. But obviously, the challenge for a player like for Kudos is, would he be as good as in the second season? That's always going to be like the Holy Grail. But one thing is, he's everything Anthony isn't, and I'll leave it at that.
I've got to show this one, Max. It's class. Jack says, Jez, is that your brother?
Oh, he's talking about the Lee's titles.
Yeah, that's it, man. Is well, Kenny Ken went all Michael last night. Michael Jackson, shock of losing. There it is. Couple of questions in here. Don't know. Henry Ray Baker says, is Del Boy Gunner working? I don't know. I've not seen anything of Del Boy for quite a while. No idea what's gone down there. Maybe Kyle will know more than us. But it is. I'm going to wrap this up soon. E. Ross, damn, Jez, skip my question about the pork chops. Kenny, he asked that you've been eating dry pork chops recently, which is probably true because you've been, giving it to
well, not too funny. There's been a few pork chops, over the years, in terms of like, people behind the scenes who are slagging us all off, certain podcasters and certainly some players and managers of pork chops. But in terms of pork chops, I don't mind a pork chop, but a spare rib's nicer.
Yeah, fair play, man. Fair play. Guys, people, thank you for coming in, watching. We're going to wrap it up. No, I'm going to ask one more question very quickly, man. Kenny, and I'll come to it. Without Thomas Partey, our midfield isn't anywhere near as strong as it used to be. And I think that's costing us, mate.
100%.
I really do.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think, ideally, if you look at Arsenal midfield, you think, right, I want Thomas Partey alongside Declan Rice with Odegaard. And you think, that's a midfield, isn't it? But, the situation is that there seems to have been like a falling out with Partey in the club. Not so much Mikel Arteta, but the club, and the injuries as well. So he's what it's like in football. Time waits for no one, and time waits. That's in life, but in football, there isn't any time. It's all about yesterday. Yesterday, you've got yesterday and probably the future. There's no present. If you lose one game, it's a crisis. Even a draw's a crisis if you're at a big club. And I think that's the thing. Football's the most ruthless pastime out there. Everyone involved in football is after something. Is after a payday. All the players are worried about their position and whether someone's going to take their place. Managers are the same. Owners are the same. And now we have an industry where fans and are part of the stakeholders. So, it just shows you that, Mikel Arteta doesn't want to move the team on, but he's going to have to because, how many games has Partey played this season?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, fair play, man.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, I personally, early doors, I think losing or having Partey missing has been a big problem for Arsenal. Personally, I think he's our best midfielder. And, we've lost him for whatever reason, I don't know. But, mate, before we wrap it up, give me your opinion.
I mean, we know obviously about the allegations on the fellow, and that could be a factor, rightly or wrongly. But we know how Arteta stands out with players. If you're not in favour of him, you've got no chance. You're either left in the annals of the club and you're literally left out hung and dry, and it's maybe partly that's the case. You know, he could have a genuine injury, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a case of Arteta's. He's discredited the club in certain respects, even though it's not been proven, allegedly, and that we'll use that word quite openly. So when you look at something like that, yeah, I think I hate to see it because he is a decent player for you guys, but I think his days are definitely numbered there.
I don't know about what's gone on in the back scenes. I've no idea, but you could be quite right. But we're going to wrap it up and thank you everyone for watching. Anybody that's new that will watch this on playback or has watched tonight, please hit those little subs just to get over that 4,500. Early doors, mate. Please shout yourself out and what you're doing, what's coming up next.
So it's Early Doors Football TV, as you see the name on the stream itself. I'm obviously going to try and do some more collabs with the community we've got. We've got some great people in the community, and obviously they are great people in the chat, and obviously some more watch-alongs. So more content for the new year. But I will say this: cheers! Thank you very much for the 3 points last night. It was a pleasure. Thanks again.
Cheers, man. Nice one. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that, man. Thank you. It's a pleasure having you on as always. And Kenny, man, as always, thank you for coming on.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed myself. Yeah, enjoy myself. It's good chatting with Early Doors as well. You know, obviously, if Early Doors is giving us stick, can you imagine what he's doing to Terry, his brother-in-law, his member of his own family?
He was eating humble pie yesterday. He was saying about, don't worry, we've still got the lead to come up and that. Wait until the end of the season. He was still giving it large. That bit never changed out of his mouth.
Oh God, you know what? Tell Terry, you know that, you know, I'm dying to see him because you know he's been asking me to eat humble pie by Arteta, but you know if we don't win anything next season, I expect Terry to buy me dinner and tell me that I was right about Arteta. But hopefully, as a gooner, I hope I'm wrong.
Absolutely, man.
I'll let him know that. Don't worry.
Right, before we bounce, got a super chat here. Titania, Carl, the loss has been coming. Moyes taught Arsenal a lesson. Yeah, he did. He outbossed him. We waste too many chances. Need killers up front. January minimum 3 signings needed. Totally agree with that comment. Absolutely. You know, it is what it is. We are going to fall down again unless we get in and strengthen that midfield defense. We need that striker, man. Go and get him. Go and get him. He wants to come to Arsenal. You know, right, it's going to cost us money. I don't care. Get rid of Nketiah. He's dross. Time to go. But anybody else, I'm going to do the outro. And thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for all the subs, likes, whatever. Smash up the subs and likes to Early Doors. Go and listen to Kenny. He talks nothing but facts. Absolute facts. If you want to know about football, man, listen to Kenny Ken because there's nothing that man don't know. And yeah, take care, everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll see you back soon.
Take it.